What we're going to talk about today is something I did during the zone. In life, one of the biggest challenges that we face is knowing where the pitfalls are. You know what a pitfall is? A pitfall is a hole in the ground. Those of us who are always looking up, being networkers, we look up all the time. Are you with me?
Yes.
We rarely look down. It can be a very serious problem. You have to learn to look down. But unfortunately, we are taught to always look up. They always tell you, you got to fly. So you're always looking up, And then, you're in Malaysia, where they steal these drain covers away. So we got to recognize where we are all the time. Are you with me?
Yes.
A pitfall happens when you least expect it. A pitfall is generally a place where you expect ground to be. Like a drain cover missing. And you put your foot down expecting there to be ground and go right through. In life, pitfalls are exactly that. Unexpected. Pillars, on the other hand, hold us up. They give us strength. And pillars basically is the strengths that we have relied upon to get to where we are today. All right? All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about pillars and pitfalls today. And there are basically 10 of them. And I'm going to start with the first one, all right? The most fundamental one. The most powerful one. And the first one is passion. Passion is what makes us great. It is the fire that burns. Are you with me?
Yes.
Passion comes from the root of our souls. It's what took us out of the decisions in life are made in passion. Are you with me?
Yes.
And what makes passion so powerful is that passion is seductive. Passion attracts. When you stand in front of a crowd and you talk to them, what attracts someone to listen to you is not the technical details of the plan. Rarely, if ever. Are you with me?
Yes.
You got to find something else to bring him in. If you're relying on the plan, the company, the product, they account for perhaps all put together 30%. Unfortunately, it's that way. So what brings them the rest of the way in? What do you need to project? The plan, they will come to know. Are you with me?
Yes.
The company is upfront, that also they will come to know. But the thing that attracts them is whatever turns you on. Are you with me?
Yes.
I remember when Patman used to go up on stage in the early days here in Malaysia. So he would go up on stage and for the first 15 minutes, sometimes he'll forget that he's up on stage doing the plan. Having too much fun, as it were. So even before he does the plan, he's already got the people excited. Are you with me?
Yes.
People come up to me and he hasn't even started doing the plan yet. I say, "Sir, I want to sign up." I said, "Wait lah. Bomb not over yet." So he said, "I don't care. Whatever he's high on, I want to get high also." I said, "That one I don't have it in a bottle." You get my point?
Yes.
But be it Padman, be it any one of the others, Donna had the same passion. When Donna goes on stage, it's amazing to watch her. Are you with me?
Yes.
The fact is, they go up there and they imbibe the place first. Now, if this was all about VCon, this was a bomb, then I would be approaching you differently. But I'm not, because this is about, hopefully, some level of intellectual discourse. And then you go back with some information in your heads that you get used. Are you with me?
Yes.
Otherwise, I'll be up here getting you on your chairs. But that's not what today is about. Today is about you understanding something you can take back and apply. But passion is a tool. So before you even go in to meet anyone, first you have to feel that passion. It's something you need to go back and touch anytime you want. Do you get my point?
Yes.
It's not something you have any selection over. It's not like, oh, I didn't feel like it. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Today is not the day for it, you know. There's no such thing. You're committed to this. You commit to it with a passion. You need to recognize that you do not have a day off to take off. Passion is something that is there all the time. Are you with me?
Yes.
When you come to VCon, it just revives, but it's constantly there. Are you with me?
Yes.
Passion is not an option. Passion is the reason that you do what you do. Passion is the reason you came in. Passion is the reason you continue. Passion is the reason you can be successful. Are you with me?
Yes.
Passion is the reason that they come in. Therefore, it's something you need to understand very well. You need to embrace it. It makes all the difference in the world. The same plan. You know, if you get rejected, and you do all the time, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Every time you get rejected, ask yourself one thing. Was I passionate enough? Now, when I mean passionate, right? Passion is not about making loud noises. It's not about shouting. You know, it's not about banging the table. That's histrionics. Amateur drama. You're not going, for the Academy Award. Passion is intensity. All of us have different ways of showing it. Are you with me? Japa, for instance, is totally unlike Padman,
Yes.
But he is known as the master of the one-on-one. Because he does the one-on-one very well. But it's very quiet. If you listen to him do his bombs in the early days, his approach is very intense. One-on-one. He feels like, it's like a slow-moving, tractor rolling over you. Because he's very intense about his subject, Very different. Padman is more like a fighter aircraft. Very different. So it's fine. Your personality, your traits, but the passion has to come. And you have to go back and keep touching it all the time. You have to light the candle that is in front of you. Because that guy, he has passion too. And that's the point that you are there to do. To light that passion. Are you with me? When the passion ignites across to the other side, then you have him. Do you get my point?
Yes.
So first you have to get the passion. You have to identify that. He has to feel, I don't care whatever the hell this is, but that I want to feel. So you can't go there looking like doom and gloom. You get my point? You got to carry that energy with you. But there is a problem. with passion per se. Passion is great because of its intensity, because of what it does. But what is its weakness? Okay. What is there a pitfall that passion brings? Passion is wonderful. Everyone understands passion as a pillar, right? Does passion have a downside to it? Don't take it to the point, passion is different onto each of us, The person in front of you may not be you, right? But the most important thing about passion is that it is, as most trends, it's a blindness. When you are so totally convinced, that also means you think you know you are right. You think you know everything. Are you getting my point? Yes. It is the biggest problem to growth. You can be totally passionate. At the same time, it doesn't mean that you need to, being passionate is enough to drive a point home. Are you with me? Yes. But at the same time, it also must be driven with a balance. Because it's not something that finishes within the day. If you're passionate all year round, just like a doctor has to be passionate and still hold his scalpel, right? Yes. Are you getting my point? Yes. Can you imagine if he's got to be passionate and say, No, he is passionate. If he has to stand there and do a 7-hour operation and then do it again the next day, right? Or do it 5 times a week, you think there's no passion involved? Do you get my point? Yes. To do anything with that kind of sincerity, with kind of in-depth focus, dedication, determination, that requires intense passion. Do you get my point? Yes. Passion is not something that needs to be just about explosion. It needs to be every day. It's passionate to get up every morning, pick up your kids, take them to school every day. Yes. Because however exhausted you are, you drag yourself, crawl out of bed, because you need to get there. Are you with me? Yes. You recognize that, right? Yes. It's passionate too. So passion has a strength, tremendous strength, but the problem is when you allow it to become a pitfall. Because you also cannot see, it takes some of the other values out of the system. Like for instance, it leads to impatience. Are you with me? Yes. Because you're so passionate, supposedly you think you're in a hurry. Are you with me? Yes. That does not lead anywhere. Being passionate is a product of also rational thinking. You have to plan, you have to conceive. Passion is something that it has to be derived, not coming out of a bottle. Passion has to come because you have thought it through. It has to be sensibly derived from your thought processes. It becomes a pillar. A pillar cannot be made of salt. It cannot crumble. It has to be solid. So in order for passion to translate itself into a pillar and not be a pitfall, it has to be constructed. It has to be worked upon. It has to be cemented. Are you getting my point? Yes. Pillars are not built in a day. The passion of the type that you need and that you need to build is the type that you need to build every day. I'll tell you one essential difference, what passion makes a difference, all right? All the skills in the world, you get 2 opponents who are evenly matched. 2 fighters, right? Sometimes you see 2 fighters slog it out for 15 rounds. Are you getting my point? Yes. They are so evenly matched that you cannot piecemeal, you cannot pick who is better. The difference of who wins at the end is simply based on who has more passion. it is passion that carries the victor. So every time you go back into the fray, back into your life, remember that the one thing that can take you over the finish line, being more prepared, having everything in place is simply not enough. Passion is that final ingredient, the first and final ingredient. The most important and final ingredient. Are you with me?
Yes.
So that's the issue on passion. The second is pride. Pride is both a pitfall and it is a pillar. There's an essential difference that one has to take in between the two. Can you see how pride is a pillar or not?
Yes.
Or how is it a pitfall? The defining difference is when you are proud in what you do, in your skill, right? Being pride in your work, in your skill, pride in your craftsmanship. Take pride in it. Make sure that it is the best that can be done. Go back and redo it again. Take pride in the way that you look. Take pride in your presentation. Take pride in the way that you do everything. Redo it and then redo it again and redo it again. That is pride that drives you. It makes you produce even better work. It's like schoolwork, 77 not enough. I need 87. I need 97. 97 not enough. I need 100. Are you with me? Yes. 100 not enough. Because, that's what the teacher thinks. There must be someone else who thinks better, higher. Are you getting my point? You take pride in what you do and what you are. And that is a skill in the skill itself. Take pride in others. Wonderful. In your team. Take pride in your downlines. Take pride in their skills. Are you with me? Yes. Drive them. Be proud of them. This is a very powerful force. Teach them to be proud of their skills. But there's that one defining line. It's when you start being proud of yourself. Not the skill, but who you are. Not what you do. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Then the line becomes already vague. Then it becomes a pitfall. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
When Muhammad Ali says, I can't be defeated, it was just before he met Joe Fraser for the second time. Are you with me?
Yes.
That's unfortunately, that's when they say pride comes before a fall. The fall being the pitfall.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Pride has to be on substance. It cannot be on just you. Pride on others, no issue. Pride in yourself, issue. Pride on work done, no issue. Pride on work done, no issue. Pride on, just you as you, there is an issue. Do you get my point?
Yes.
If you take a lot of effort to look good, no problem. A lot of effort, yes?
Yes.
You get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, I look good. Huh? Issue. You get my point?
Yes.
That one got problem. See, then you start preening yourself. You get my point? It leads on to a pitfall at some point. You stop recognizing reality, and therein lies the problem. Pride disguises reality. Pride is an illusion. So it needs to be based on something. keep basing it on facts. It must be on work done. And then say, now I need to be better. So identify the work done. Identify on your teammates, on others, no problem. But on yourself, be careful. Draw the line. Because pride always comes before a fall. The difference is between the being proud in oneself and proud in one's achievements. Achievement means it's okay to be proud of one's work, right? Then when you start gloating on it, that becomes a problem. Are you with me?
Yes.
It should be, I am proud that the work has been accomplished. Now I need to keep that standard up. Take pride in your work. Pride in your craftsmanship. Are you with me? A good doctor is proud he's a good doctor. But when he says, I am a great doctor, that someone else should say. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Same thing. Networkers have the tendency also to do the same. I am greatest is, tattooed on your forehead. Unfortunately. It comes with the territory, because we are up on stage a lot, right? We get a lot of accolades, right? Too many times you hear a clap and you actually start believing in it. So you always must come back down to earth. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Okay. Always find one neutral point of judgment to keep with you. Some neutral point of judgment. That's how you keep your balance in pride. Are you with me? For me, when I go home, my neutral point of judgment is always sitting in the house. She keeps it very sane. Are you with me?
Yes.
So whatever anyone says, that's my balancing factor. So you must always have one. You must have one very solid neutral point of reference you can go to, be it a friend, right? A partner, but someone you can rely on who's going to tell you to your face, no, actually, you're not that great. You could do better. Are you with me?
Yes.
And that you need to hear all the time. You need to have a coach. All of you need to recognize you need to have a coach. A coach cannot be coming up to you all the time and saying, how wonderful you are. You're so good. You are the greatest. You know what I mean? Nobody can be better than you. I mean, if that's the kind of coach that you have, you might as well, you can't even be in a beauty contest. You get my point?
Yes.
Coach begins up by saying, you pariah dog. Something to that effect. Are you with me?
Yes.
He has to kick you, isn't it? Wake you up in the morning, get you into motion, right? So that's the duty of a coach. And do you have a coach? And the first thing the coach does is puncture your balloon every morning. Are you with me?
Yes.
So find a coach. Fundamental problem to the pitfall problem of pride. Fundamental solution to the pitfall problem of pride. Find a coach. All right?
Yes.
And the third, patience. Now, patience looks easy enough, isn't it? Supposed to be a strength. Is it not?
Yes.
Is patience not supposed to be a strength? So where's the weakness? Too patient. You're getting smart. Exactly. Too much of anything is bad. The problem with, what's the problem being too patient? I thought too patient is good one. It's like I met one of my, earliest partners in this business, one of the top networkers that I knew. And when I met him, he said to me, He said to me, you know something? I said, yes. I have been a networker for 17 years. I said, oh, wow. I mean, fantastic, right? I've been networking since the age of 17. So I've been networking for 17 years now, okay. I said, wow. So, where's the yacht? Where's the palace in the sky? Where's the yacht? Where's the Rolls Royce? See, you've been networking for 17 years. You shouldn't be telling anybody unless you're already retired, right? That means you're doing something wrong and you're repeating it every bloody year. Are you with me? So we got a lot of networkers who say, hey, I'm networking 7 years now. 10 years already now. Very proud of themselves. The thing is, your success speaks for itself. You don't need to, right? Number one. Number two, it's a concept of being too patient for success. You must be hungry for it. Success will come, one day, but I've been steady every week on, I'm there, I am there for every week on, I turn up for every meeting like clockwork, I am there. But has your income grown? Actually, I have to check and see. Have you fired your boss? Not yet. I mean, not you, but this person still waiting. So the still waiting syndrome, have you heard of the still waiting syndrome? Yes. It's like saying, I'm engaged to that girl for 7 years now. Intending to get married one day. Planning to buy that house. In the meantime, it's been sold 3 times. You get my point?
Yes.
So, this concept of being overly patient is a pitfall. Patience is very important. Why? For a networker, it is primarily a big hole. We are either too patient or not patient. Most of us are impatient. We tend to be impatient in the things we need to be patient on, and very patient on the things that we need to be impatient on. Are you with me? Yes. The things that we need to be patient on, waiting for someone. While waiting for, your so-and-so to arrive, there will be a small line that has been already burnt out in the carpet. Walking up and down, walking up and down, walking up and down. Are you getting my point? Yes. Unfortunately, we are people in a hurry. Networkers tend to be people in a hurry. Are we not?
Yes.
That's fine. But that doesn't mean it has to convert into, hypertensive activity. Do you get my point? I mean, most networkers I find always, Chief, we have to do something about it. The fingers are moving as he's talking. I said, are you tapping out a message to somebody? I mean, can you imagine him doing his presentation or listening? He's like, continuously active, looking at his time, waiting for the next. I made another appointment. I got to go to the next appointment right now. The guy who's listening to you saying, you're not here with me. Why will I sign up? You get my point?
Yes.
There are times you just have to learn to be patient. There are times you just also cannot be patient. And the balance is, it cannot be a pitfall. It's the most dangerous pitfall. It's a very slow pitfall. It's, passion is a pitfall where you fall like that. Are you with me?
Yes.
You hit with a hard thump. It's a real pitfall. Pride is a pitfall you hit with a hard thump. But patience is a pitfall you sink like quicksand, very slowly. You don't even know you're sinking until it's above your eyeballs. Patience is a pitfall that's like, it just sucks you in. Before you know it, you say, I've been doing this 7 years. What am I doing wrong? Why the hell am I not waking up? There has to be a limit to this process. I have to do this better. There are people doing it better all the time. There are people freeing themselves. Right now, if you take a look at the economy, it is never going to be better than today. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, you see, any economist will tell you that there is simply not enough jobs to go around. And there is no way that anybody can provide that. No economy, no government can provide that. There is also no way that no government can, increase or reduce their level of unemployment right now. Our technology is just getting faster and better. And you just cannot produce enough factories. In fact, the factories need less and less people. They're getting more and more automated. Are you with me? So what do you do with 6 billion people? People are still out there producing babies like there's no tomorrow. It's a fact. So we have 6 billion people on the planet. And the biggest problem we have is almost 3 billion out of the 6 live below the poverty line. There's no way we can provide. Are you with me? The only way is to provide them a skill. So you have to learn right now, today, that what you're doing is far more than just an entrepreneurship. It's a service. And you can build this far better than you're building right now. You need to, each of you, become by yourselves a company that carries so many others. Are you with me? And think like entrepreneurs. And build yourselves. You're not here, as employees. You're here as partners. And you can and you should. Are you with me?
Yes.
Think big. Right? But don't be too patient. The next is to go on to something very powerful called perseverance. It simply means never give up. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Keep on trying. Keep on knocking. See, your brain is far more powerful than you think it is. It's far more versatile than you think it is. It's far more capable. You just need to utilize it more. You just simply need to put it to work. And nothing like, perseverance makes it work. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. Have you ever heard that statement?
Yes.
That means when you have no other choice, you invent your way out of the mess. Are you with me?
Yes.
Perseverance is basically the other alternative. Necessity happens when you are stuck and you have no other way, your back is against the wall, then you dig a way through the wall. Perseverance is you don't wait till your back is against the wall. You try every single door. Keep trying doors till you find it. If you keep on working on perseverance, then you will never be hit by the need for necessity. You will still come across new and inventive ways. You will come across innovation. Perseverance is the cardinal way forward in life. Knock on every door. What is there to be ashamed of? The worst that can happen is you get to somebody says no. Are you with me?
Yes.
And how does that change you? All that it means is the poor guy is all the, less poorer for it. Are you with me?
Yes.
And that you set him up for another day. I'm serious. I'm serious. You never write anyone off. You just move him from list A to list B. And I come back to you later. And then move on. Because there's always someone waiting somewhere. Are you with me?
Yes.
But why are you not knocking? The key is knocking. Knocking must happen even when you are at the very top. You never know who you are turning away. You never know who you are just stopping short of. And believe me, they all don't look like great networkers, You must see some of our stars at the back there right now when I first met them. They don't look like this now. You will not imagine how they were when I met them. You cannot recognize a networker. They don't dress up with a star shining there with a little light in neon saying, hey, great networker, arrow pointing down. Most probably they'll be the one to reject you first. Are you with me? Now, perseverance also has a downside. And again, when you're overly perseverant, what happens? The same problem about overly perseverant is you start becoming blind. You become obstinate. You sometimes need to know when you cannot continue. I.e., when you're with somebody you have already tried. Now, someone not going to do it, it's not going to do it, right? Otherwise, you become a nuisance. Oh, Dada told me to be perseverant. Therefore, I am going to be here till I sign this guy up. Then I get a call from PJ Balai. No. It has to be a line. You have to balance yourself. It's just a pitfall. You have to know. Sometimes you have to stop and move on and change direction because you have to keep moving forward. Sometimes moving forward just requires you to move a little bit to the left and keep moving. You just cannot keep on going. This becomes obstinacy. Obstinacy. Are you with me?
Yes.
And that's the biggest problem with being perseverant as a pitfall. Okay? And the next. Now there's a difference between persistence and perseverance. Perseverance is one activity that you're pushing all the way through. Are you getting my point? Persistence is what you do every day. Do you get my point? Right? That's persevering under pressure, taking that strain and continuing. Persistence is what you do every day. That requires a different kind of tact, attitude, and approach. That's the getting up every morning and driving to work kind of thing, Not slowing down, doing the same thing every single day. And that is what we call broom work. And it's no different. Every networker needs to do it. There are things we have to plan and project every single day. Can we avoid it?
No.
Do you get my point?
Yes.
They need to be done. You have to be organized. There is no such thing as a successful, unorganized networker. There is no such thing. All of us have to learn one thing, and that's an organizational skill. Organizational skills means putting down one, when do you meet your people? How often do you meet them? How often do you get reports from them? What's the regularity? Are you getting my point? Yes. How well are they doing? Are you keeping track of everything that they're doing, etc., etc.? And that whole organization, if you need to, you have to get a secretary somewhere down the road. What are you going to hand over to her? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
You have to take yourself a lot more seriously. And it has to start from the very beginning. It starts with meticulous details of everything that you do. What is business and the line has to be drawn. Are you with me?
Yes.
One half of your desk can be completely meticulous, everything in place, Other half looks like as if the whirlwind. And that's fine. He said, this is my business half. This is me. All my garbage is on this side. But on this side is my business half, and that is office. That's how disciplined you have to be. The rest of the room can look like a tornado has gone through. But if you have put one side and said, this is the office, that becomes virtually your place of worship. Work is worship. So you treat it with that kind of devotion. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
You treat it meticulously, you put everything in place, you put it back afterwards. Treat it with that dedication, with that persistence to detail. Otherwise, no one else will. If you don't take yourself seriously, who's going to take you seriously now? If you don't take yourself seriously, no one is going to take you seriously. Am I right?
Yes.
Why do I tell you to take the effort to get dressed? Why? For the same point. Take yourself seriously. Persistence falls under that. Are you with me? Taking yourself seriously. Every single point has to be redrawn. Lines are redrawn. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So this is why it's critically important that persistence is something that you do every day. As boring as it gets, it needs to be done. The biggest problem with persistence is don't fall asleep. We do. What we traditionally do, because it's like a guard job. Are you with me? The biggest problem is falling asleep on duty. And that's what we do. The weakest point in people doing this is that everyday thing. That's the weakest link. We can always do something for some time. Are you with me?
Yes.
But when it needs to be maintained for a certain period of time, that's where it fails. Because that dedication has to come from within. That sacrifice, that willingness must come from you. You must love it, what you're doing. You cannot say to yourself, I'll put up with this pain, then you will stop somewhere along the way. This is so boring, so terrible, but I got to do it every day. You will fail somewhere along the way. You will just get up one day and forget to do it, or not want to do it and say, I'll put it off till tomorrow. And there you lost the chain. And the chain is critically important. Anything that needs to be done consistently. You get my point?
Yes.
It's like watering your plants, feeding your fish. You get my point? You have an option. Don't feed your fish for a week, what happens? Trick is to stay with one path and get to your goal. Are you with me?
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll be just jumping ship all the time, trying to find the same thing. You're not going to find it in any different place. This ship will also get you there. You jump from this ship to another ship, you carry all your weaknesses with you. You get my point?
Yes.
It's going to be no different. No ship is going to get you there any faster. You need to change first. Persistence means every day doing the same thing with passion. Without that passion, you lose it. You get my point? But if you stop today saying there is tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, you stop. And that's how we all stop. There is no tomorrow. If we can remember that there is no tomorrow, everything we do will be different. Of all the pitfalls, the greatest one is simply believing in tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Whatever happens, happens now. Do it now. Persistence is simply do it now. The mantra for persistence is do it now. So you do it today, do it again the next day, do it the following day, do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and never slow down. Why? Because there is no tomorrow. You need to believe in that. You must believe in that. That's the difference. That's essentially the difference. The line that I had to cross was where you live right now and where I am today. Is simply that there is no tomorrow. Are you with me?
Yes.
You have to believe that there is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow.
And we try again. Persistence has the same problem. When you start believing in doing the same thing every day but without the passion, it becomes repeating your same mistake. There's no growth, is there? It's like the guy who said to me, I'm networking for 17 years. He was doing it for 17 years, but there's no growth. It had become mundane, it had become routine. It stopped thinking. No, it's got to be something that you enjoy doing also. You talk to them. You develop it into a practice. In Sanskrit, it is called sadhana. Anything that is done with regularity and consistency, with passion, is called sadhana. Are you with me? Yes. And any sadhana refines your spirit. It strengthens you. It develops you. Whatever you do with persistence becomes a skill. Whatever you do with persistence becomes a skill. You see, what looks effortless causes a great deal of effort at the start. Right? I mean, I was at Wimbledon a week and a half ago. But about a week ago I was in Wimbledon watching the semi-finals between Roger Federer and Djokovic. One of the best games that you could ever hope to see. I was right there on center court. It was an incredible game. For those of you who know or understand tennis, Roger Federer was playing his 7th Wimbledon semi-finals, and that was really the finals. Djokovic was the world number 1. But Federer's return, his serve, his take was so effortless. Djokovic used both hands to serve and both hands to hit. He was throwing all his energy, and you could hear him, and Federer took it like as if he was playing badminton. But if you and I try to do it, you will find the difference. But to make it look so effortless took a great deal of effort initially. But as he did it every day, day after day after day, with passion, with persistence, it became sadhana. It became effortless. He became a master of that stroke. Are you with me?
Yes.
And he became the master of the world he surveyed. He became champion again for the 7th time. So it's not enough to be just persistent. You must have the persistence with the passion. Are you with me?
Yes.
All right so far?
Yes.
There is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow.
We do it now.
We do it now.
Wonderful. And the next is purity. You know what purity means? To be pure, right? This refers to intent. Be very clear on your intent. You have to define your intent before you start anything. If you're not clear on your intent, that becomes your pitfall. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Intent has to be defined and recognized. Defined and recognized. Every single time. Always remember why you started. Never forget where you started from. How you started from. Are you with me? Yes. Go back there, redefine, look again. Remember, purity of your intention will drive you. Your thought processes. You must have something that drives you towards where you're going. It cannot be just money itself. It's not like you're going to take this and fill up a bathtub full of cash and jump into it, right? You must have other purposes. What is it you're going to do? Rub yourself with the money? You have something you want to achieve. Your family, perhaps. To serve. Are you with me? Yes. To give something back to society. It must have a purpose. And that purpose cannot be divided from what you do every day. It's easy enough to forget why and just get lost into the work of what you're doing every day. But then when you do that, you lose the purity of your intention and you lose the purity of your act. So you cannot every day, which is why when I talk about mana, when I talk about every day, that is what it does. It brings back again. It keeps realigning who you are. It keeps directing you back and keeping your thought processes pure. The minute you lose your impurity, then you start thinking only about the cash. And when you chase money for money itself, you become mercenary. When you chase money for its utility, for its objectivity, for what you can use it for, you become missionary. And there is a massive difference, a whole world between the two things. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So, if you keep the purity of thought, you can always be a missionary. But when you lose it, you become a mercenary. And you never see a mercenary retire. They always basically give up, give in, or get lost. You get my point?
Yes.
But as a missionary, you have an objective, you have a purpose. So that's what purity is. Are you with me?
Yes.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Then we move on to the next, 7th, practice. Whatever you do must be put into practice. We talked about persistence just now. Persistence is the energy, is the willpower. Practice is the act. Are you with me?
Yes.
Practice makes perfect. Practice is the most important thing of everything that you do. You have to keep doing it over and over and over again. As we talked today about Roger Federer, did we not?
Yes.
That took practice. Do you think he stopped practicing when he became champion?
No.
He probably practiced all the more harder. Yes. The minute you lose control, you lose everything. You lose practice, you lose everything. Are you with me?
Yes.
And you have to recognize the value of practice. Because when you're out there in real life, you cannot have the liberty of slowing down. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Pitfall. What's a pitfall? Any ideas on the pitfall of practice? If you're practicing, you practice all the time. Are you with me?
Yes.
When you have, the worst thing that can happen is irregular practice. If you're practicing, it has to be all or nothing. But thinking you're practicing is the worst thing that can happen, because you're halfway there, 1 foot here, 1 foot there. You have to go all the way or nothing at all. When I was with Rudy Hartono, and I asked him how he was champion so many times. And one of the things that he said to me, which I didn't understand the first time he said it to me, I said to him, especially when he won against Panchkunalan, he was down by so many points. Panchkunalan was, on the third set, he was 13-5, so he was 2 points short of winning. And from there, he came back, he took the set, and took the third set and won, I said, where was your mindset? How did you come back? When you're 2 points lost, short of losing the game, where did you come back from? He says, to him, he never sees the points. Every single point to him is life or death. And he said, tidak ada apa-apa seperti latihan. So I didn't get that. I said, what does that mean? Nothing like practice. There's no such thing as practice, is what he said, So I said, apa itu tidak ada latihan? He said, tiap-tiap hari macam, every day was sampai mati. Do you get my point? Whether he's playing in Senayan, that's his stadium in Jakarta, with his own teammates, or whether he's in the All England playing against Panchkunalan, every mark, every point was to death. So there is no such thing as practice. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Every single day was for him a fight to death. So even when he was practicing in Senayan every day, he fought to death. And that's the earmark of a champion. All right?
Yes.
Excellent. The next, penitence. Penitence is very powerful. It means the act of penitence is the act of where you regret something you have done. It is the first stage or first step that you do before you recognize a mistake. See, the problem is when someone is telling us a mistake, what do? Yeah, I know. Already know it before it's told you. I know. So, okay lah, make a mistake lah. Correct or not? Okay lah, sorry. Got any penitence in there, no? Penitence is the actual act of regret. The feeling. If you don't have it, then you are not learning anything. And we all, making a mistake is fundamental, It is the most important thing in learning. And everybody makes it. It's impossible for us not to make mistakes. In fact, it's a big mistake to begin anything by thinking we will not make a mistake. Are you getting my point? One of the biggest mistakes we can make is to start, life or start a training or start something new by thinking to ourselves, we will not make a mistake. That's absolute garbage. You have to recognize you are going to make a mistake. And if you recognize that, then the next thing to remember is, how do I learn? The only thing you can do is to learn fast. To recognize, to remember, to be penitent. Then you can correct the mistake. Otherwise, you know what you do? We tend to just completely repeat the same old mistakes over and over again. Like that networker who says to me, I'm 17 years in networking. He has perfected his mistakes to the point that he's become an expert in his mistakes. He does it so well that he himself doesn't recognize he's doing a mistake, he's making a mistake anymore. As far as he's concerned, he's doing everything right and no one can tell him anything different. Do you get my point?
Yes.
And therein lies the problem. He is forgotten. The act of penitence is a line that you must always keep in mind. Okay, I have made a mistake and I should have never made it. Sitting and recognizing that mistake again comes back to Mauna. The act of sitting for a moment in every morning, sitting down, recognizing, okay, what are the stuff that I should have done yesterday? What are my mistakes? Correcting that. And therein lies your secret to success. Because you should be able to feel. If you don't feel it, it's never going to change. You are not going to change. And if you don't change, you're never going to learn. So, the feeling is the critical thing. And we all try to avoid that feeling because we say, why do I want to feel down, So we don't want to feel that. But that is very important that you feel that. Every champion feels it. When he misses his stroke, he wants to break his racket. We so-called half champions, Irapala. Namai, try again. But for him, in Rudy Hatono, there's no try again. For him, every point is to death. Are you with me?
Yes.
Our problem is we cannot be penitent. Penitent is important because every time we feel the penitence, we change. So we have to feel. We have to care enough for our actions to feel. So we slow down. Otherwise, if we say there's no cause for our mistakes, there's no penalty, penitence must follow with penalty, If there's no penalty, we say, no problem, do it again. There's no cost. So keep on doing it over and over again. Are you with me? Let's compound our stupidity. Let's all network for 17 years. You get my point?
Yes.
No, I want to retire. And if I choose to network, it's because I love it. Isn't that the way to do it?
Yes.
You choose to do what you want with your life. And therein lies the difference. Where you are right now is because you are still looking for the way out. Is this not true?
Yes.
And then you'll find that this is still one of the most wonderful things to do. But that's a different place and time. Are you with me?
Yes.
But till you get there, you have to feel the pain of penitence. The pain of penitence. Are you with me?
Yes.
And it's very important to feel it because mistakes represent progress only if they are new mistakes. When you repeat old mistakes, you're stuck in a rut. But otherwise, mistakes always represent progress. Progress only comes through mistakes. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
The lack of penitence is a problem. When we cannot be penitent, then we don't learn from our mistakes. Are you with me? We actually start becoming use our mistakes for a pedestal for preaching. There's no pain involved in the process of learning. Are you with me? And that, sadly, is one of our biggest problems in networking. We need to feel that penitence. We cannot be lost in it, however. The pitfall is to be lost in it. There are others who say, I made a mistake. Are you with me? And then don't move for 2 days. No, there's a process of learning involved in it. Pay the penalty. Whatever you have set in your mind, I'm going to now go back and do something. Are you with me? To make up for that. Pay a penalty. And go on and learn from it. And this is why the whole, practice of Mauna is so critical, because it allows you to write it up, pay a penalty. So, okay, I'm going to go do this. Because I did this over again the third time, today I'm going to go and, do something for somebody. Make up something. Pick up the garbage, etc., so on. Your own, system of penalty must be there. But the objective is not to get lost in it. But when you get lost in it, there are some people who say, I have made a mistake. And they are so scared of making the next one. That is too much. You have that or not? And the fear of making a mistake can paralyze you. That is where it's a pitfall. Becomes a pitfall the minute you become too penitent. Must you be penitent? Absolutely. Otherwise you learn nothing. The minute you sink yourself in it, then you end up, sunk in the swamp and cannot move forward. Get the difference?
Yes.
All right. Okay, the next one is prejudice. Prejudice is a very important challenge that we face. The strength is that we cannot acknowledge it. The pitfall is the reverse, when we do. Are you getting my point? We of all people cannot accept prejudice in any form or another. When we work with each other, when we work for each other, we must be as one. And one of the challenges that we overcome every year in VCon is simply that. Without boundaries, without caste, color, creed, country, we come together. If you are in this line of work, in this vocation, the first thing that you must recognize is you have to drop is any kind of prejudice. It can only be a wall, not a bridge. It is impossible for you to see where your lines are going to pervade and how and where they're going to grow. This is not something that you can organically control. Are you getting my point? You have to be open to, your house has to be open to every, culture and country in the planet. Your mind has to be open to every caste, culture, creed in the planet. Are you with me?
Yes.
Your feet has to be rooted into who you are. That is not required for you to change. Are you with me?
Yes.
The words of Gandhi, he says, the doors and windows of my house are open to winds from all the corners of the world. And they are welcome to blow freely through the house. But my feet stand firmly in the soil of my motherland. And that is the approach that we all should take. Are you with me?
Yes.
Not asking you to be blown away and become anyone different. But you cannot have in your mind any form of prejudice per se. And the pitfall is to actually acknowledge that prejudice in any form or another. To be, to have it in your network is silly. You will just isolate people. You cannot have a preference for anyone above another. Friends above another becomes nepotism. Are you with me? Relations above another becomes nepotism. Are you with me? Any preference for old classmates above new people will become nepotism. It'll all lead to your downfall at some point. Everyone has to be equal. And you have to work accordingly to that. You can have friends and you can have your relations. You can have people you prefer, but all of that will have to be outside of your professional relationships. Your personal and professional relationships have to be clearly defined. Can you not see that?
Yes.
Are we clear on this?
Yes.
So, otherwise you are creating prejudice. And we all invariably, especially here in Malaysia, are very susceptible. Are you with me?
Yes.
You have to open your doors and welcome and build without prejudice. Particularly when we do this, we embrace one and all. We are one family and we are one. We see this every year in WeCon. It's not just something we say. It's something we do, something we believe in, something we breathe. Are you with me?
Yes.
Wonderful. And now we come to the last one, which is essentially pain. Pain is a friend to a networker. Am I right?
Yes.
If you don't embrace pain, you're never going to be able to do this journey. Are you with me?
Yes.
I'm not talking about you going and, beating each other up. There's all kinds of pain. We need to be focused. We need to embrace it. And we will realize that it is in fact a friend. There is no champion who's ever made it without pain. There is no success that's ever gained without pain. There is no victory without pain. Pain is an essential part of growth. There is no growth without pain. Are you with me?
Yes.
But yet we all shy away from it. We basically run from it. It's the pain that stops us first. Are you with me? And if we just learn to understand, to get beyond it, it is actually the most powerful thing that can keep driving us forward. Sometimes life gives us this pain and then we learn. In fact, if you take a look at some of the most successful people in history, they all have had something that essentially hit them very hard in life, very painfully. A devastating disaster of some kind. Are you with me? And they woke up to it. But hopefully we all do not need to do that. Are you with me?
Yes.
I'm not asking you to go and, cause pain. But it is a natural part of the progression that we have to undergo. And we have to recognize it. And when we do come across it, we have to accept it. There is a pain of getting up every day. There's a pain of doing everything that we do. Everything that we talked about just now causes pain. Are you with me?
Yes.
In one form or another, every single thing that we talked about just now causes pain in some form. Mental stress is pain. Dealing with issues is pain. Every day, and it takes its toll. But if we allowed it, it would wear us down. It would make us weak. It can destroy us. But if we embraced it, it is the font of all creativity and artistry. There's no poetry without pain. There's no melody without pain. The most beautiful songs are written through pain. The greatest artists first experience pain. Are you with me?
Yes.
But we have to go beyond that. We have to detach ourselves from the process. We have to recognize that true victory results in us being focused on our destination and let nothing come in our way. Are you with me?
Yes.
True victory means let nothing disturb the true path that we have to take. Let no illusion, no shadows, no darkness come in our path. If a darkness strikes you, light a candle. If there are shadows, walk stride bravely on. Walk into the light. Are you with me?
Yes.
And if there is pain that has to be borne, bear it. It cannot be forever. But one thing I can guarantee you is if you embrace it, it adds to who you are. You grow stronger for it. You not only grow stronger, you grow wiser. Be the warrior. Be the samurai. Change your thoughts and you change the world. Are you with me?
Yes.
One man's pain is another man's what? Another man's what? Gain. No. Yeah, that too. That too. But one man's pain is another man's pleasure. If the mosquito turns into a flower, it depends on how you look at it. If you see the sunrise, can you see the mosquitoes? Cannot. You have to let your mind overcome your obstacles. You let yourselves many times be stopped by mosquitoes. You're stuck on the ground by mosquitoes. You fight mosquitoes. You spend so much time chasing mosquitoes and fighting mosquitoes and killing mosquitoes that you have become a mosquito warrior. And you might as well call yourself the code of the mosquito. But you have to get beyond this. If you see beyond the mosquito to the sun, it is a totally different planet altogether. Where you live and where they live is two different places. And you need to recognize that. You need to get beyond where you live to where they live. And it must begin from inside. It's inside that victory really lies. It's inside that everything lies. And you need to actually believe in this. Everything is inside. First you begin the victory inside, everything else happens outside. Are you with me?
Yes.
And if you really focus, you will see beyond the mosquitoes onto the sunrise. Are you with me?
Yes.
Otherwise, perennially, the mosquitoes will pull you down. And that cannot be your final epitaph, the mosquito warrior. So let's look beyond. Let's look over the horizon. Let's challenge the status quo. Let's change who we are. And when we change who we are, we will change the world. When we change who we want to become, we will rock the world. Are you with me?
Yes.
So put on your helmets, as in terms of being warriors, and your armor. Get together your spirit and your energy, and let's go out there and conquer this planet. Thank you very much.